Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was loving you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they feel strange. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip.
Welcome to the Seahawks Man to Man podcast powered by Blue Wire. Shout out to the new company. My name is Michael Sean Dugar. You guys can follow me on whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. My app name has not changed. It's also right there on the screen at Mike Dugar, MikeDugar. Appreciate everyone who is listening or watching via our YouTube channel. Seahawks Man to Man is the name of the channel. That's Seahawks Man. The number 2 man. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well. TikTok. The handle is the same on everything. So like, comment, review, subscribe. If it's a button that supports us, press it. Thank you in advance for doing that. Chris, go ahead and talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Christopher Kidd. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at CKIDD206, and that's CKID206.
All right, just to show how much we love you guys, Chris and I decided to not sleep, pretty much, and do the show after the game. So I just got home. It is, what time is it? 1:32 a.m. We love you guys, folks. We love you guys. Seahawks beat the Texans. Let's see if I can remember the final off the top of my head. 27-19, I believe, some funky score like that. The Seahawks are now 5-2, heading into their bye week. And Chris, we have a lot of questions, so we won't spend too much time on it open today. But I do just need to point out two things that I'm glad. I told Doug Farrar, shout out to Doug, told him this in the press box today. He came up to me and well, first off, this is funny. Y'all appreciate this. This just coming to my mind. He was like, well, how do you guys say it? Is it a 4-pack of ass? He was like, which one? What is it? And I was like, it's a 2-pack of ass. Yeah. He was like, oh, okay. He's like, that's what this game was. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't great. However, I'm glad the world saw, those who stayed up, particularly on the East Coast, I'm glad they saw two things Monday night. I'm glad they saw that Jax is currently the best receiver in the league. Like currently, like today, like I really don't feel like there's much arguing there, like he is. And the other thing is that Mike McDonald, once again, like has arguably the best defense in the league. At the very least, I'm comfortable calling it an elite defense. Like the world saw that. Both of those things have been true before tonight. So I won't say tonight, or actually yesterday at this point, solidified those two things. They've arguably been true for a little bit. However, this was just further confirmation of those two truths. No one can cover Jackson, and Mike McDonald is a madman. He's got an amazing front, and then he somehow makes everybody a pass rusher. Everybody. Chris, me and you are pass rushers right now because we're just in Mike McDonald's orbit. It's just ridiculous. Anybody can affect the quarterback with Mike McDonald, and then his team stops the run, and when they have the ball, they just throw it to Jax. Like, it's a very simple formula that the Seahawks have right now. We'll get into the idea of sustainability, but for everyone who stayed up, who kept their TVs on after the Mariners lost, and on the East Coast who stayed up to watch this game that ended, I believe, well after midnight on the East Coast. You stayed up, Chris, you saw those two things. The best receiver in the league and a top 3 defense at minimum. Like, there's not 3 defenses better than the one in Seattle right now.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he's crazy. He sent the double cornerback blitz, and it connected with another sack.
Blitz. Your favorite one.
Is Josh Jobe off the edge, Reek Woolen off the edge, just impactful, getting to C.J. Stroud, making him uncomfortable, and he was uncomfortable all night in that pocket. The D-line was feasting. You would think they would have had more sacks, but they didn't. And, give some credit to C.J. Stroud for stepping up in the pocket and making some tough throws, but they were just making him work his ass off on Monday Night Football. And that's all you could ask for, especially with a defense that had struggled 2 weeks ago against the Buccaneers. They have now put on back-to-back dominating performances on the D-line, getting after the quarterback and stopping the run. So, again, to give credit, as you just did with Mike McDonald and what he's done with his defense, you got Ty Okada on blitzes getting to the quarterback. You got Drake Thomas making plays, splash plays everywhere all over the field. And then, as I mentioned, with that double cornerback blitz on 1st and 10, just coming out of halftime is kind of, damn, Mike, you're trying to send a message here. So yet again, this defense is just showcasing on a big stage too, right? That's, I think, very important, because if you go back and watch the broadcast, I don't know if you said you haven't got a chance to watch it off wax, but when you go back and watch, you'll hear how Dan Orlovsky and Louis Riddick are just loving what they're seeing from the defense. And they are, dare I say, talking about Super Bowl aspirations. Now, you and I have seen more of the Seahawks than both of those guys, but they do know ball, no discredit to them. But at the same time, I would like to see how this progresses. The Seahawks did have 4 turnovers on Monday Night Football, so that's not something to gloss over. The Texans just have a really bad offensive line, and the Seahawks defensive line dominated them, and that's all you would ask for. Beat down on those opponents that aren't good, especially up front. And I thought for the most part, the Seahawks did a good job. Questionable play calling that we'll get into with some of the questions throughout the game. But overall, just another good nod to the Seahawks for walking out of there with another W and improving to 5-2 and trying to keep up with the Rams and Niners, who are also doing a pretty good job despite the Niners having yet again a litany of injuries. So here we are. And they lost Fred Warner, Bosa, Brock Purdy's out, no receivers, and yet they still find a way to win games on Sunday. But this is good for the Seahawks going into their bye week. This is huge.
Yeah, 2 things before we get into questions. I looked this up. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 different Seahawks have a sack. Or a half a sack, depending on how you want to count those. 12 different guys. How many of these guys are DBs? Let's see. Ty, J Love, Josh, Spoon. So 4 DBs. Oh, no, 5. D'Anthony Bell has one as well. Shared one with Chenna. So, 12 guys have 23 sacks. That's good. So, I mean, everybody is eligible to rush the passer in this defense. We'll talk a little bit more about the defense. And then the second thing I don't know if I'll watch the broadcast just because I'll be so busy and I just want to sleep during the bye week. However, I do enjoy that. I do like that the audience got a Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky broadcast, because both of those guys, know ball and really appreciate the things that the Seahawks are good at. Like Louis, both of them really know wide receiver and DB play. So I'm sure they were gushing over Jax. And
oh my gosh, wipe your lip.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they were. And then Riddick really he's a huge defense guy in general, and so I'm sure he was loving the front today.
Man.
It was just,
you would have thought they were Seahawks broadcasters, Mike.
Yeah, no, they I mean, look, I might have told this story on the show before, but in 2022, before Drew got COVID, that prevented him from making the start in the preseason against the Bears. The Lewis and those guys and Orlovsky were calling the game because it was a Monday night game, or it was that crew. I think the game was on a Thursday. But I was talking to Lewis in the lobby. I don't even think he knew me. He probably still doesn't. But he was just like, man, I don't know, man. Watching these guys on tape and practice, I like what Pete's got here. I think this team's gonna be good. And he was running down a list of all the reasons. In my head, I'm like, man, Lewis is tripping. And they go out and make the playoffs. And pretty much everything he said, all the reasons he listed bear fruit. I think he was just really high on Artie Burns at the time, and he obviously didn't end up being one of the starting corners, but still, that was his. So he knows ball, and is being a big Seahawk guy. So yeah, maybe I'll watch it for them. I'm glad that I'm sure they were highlighting all of the good things that the Seahawks were doing, and that's good. You need the broadcasters elevate that. I think the one play I watched a little bit of the first quarter broadcast, and I think on the first 3rd and 1 stop that the Seahawks got, I think Chenna gets the tackle, but immediately upon replay, Lewis is like, no. What started that play is Jay Reed, and he's correct. I think Jay Reed had walked the center back, and I was like, yeah, see, Riddick knows where the real points of impact are. So I'm glad that those two were calling the game. So yeah, maybe I'll go back and watch that. Maybe not. Anyway, all right. Question time. What we got?
Hey guys, love your show. This is Kieran from Austin, Texas. I have a big question for you, but it's simple. If this running game gets right, can we contend for a Super Bowl? All right, that's it. I love your show. Keep up the good work. Bye.
We'd have to define getting right, but I mean, Chris, that really is like I would say the team has like two missing pieces for me to say that. Um, it's getting the run game going, um, and then it's a reliable second option. Like I think it's AJ. Like I feel I feel okay about that. I would just have to see it because I do think it's just hard to make a run when when the distribution is so heavy to one guy. My cousin texted me the distribution today, and I hadn't looked at it. Jax had 14 targets, and no one else had more than 5. Like, and pretty much every game is starting to look like that, which is fine. It works. They're scoring points, but the deeper you go, I do feel like it's just going to be teams are going to eventually just totally sell out because right now teams are just like, all right, we'll just put our best guys on Jackson, pray for the best. Well, that's not working. God's not listening. So you're going to have to dedicate more resources to doing that, and teams will. And then with the run game, you know what's weird, Chris? I don't actually care whether they run it well early in the game. I'm very concerned about their inability to run it when they have a lead. That is like unfathomable how bad they are. Like, all right, we're up 2 scores in the 4th, punt, turnover, sack on 3rd and like what are we doing? It's just so it feels like if they only fix one of those things, the answer to the Super Bowl question is yes, but preferably would have to be the run game because if you can't run the ball in the 4th, eventually you can lose to Alabama. You can just lose to anybody. I feel like if you just can't do that.
I mean, Mike, what are you saying? They almost lost to the Texans, but thank God the Texans' offensive line is far worse than what the Seahawks had to offer. Or else we're talking about a completely different outcome here. Blowing a lead because, as you mentioned, you can't run the football, turnovers. So that is definitely something that could be concerned about going forward. This next question is from Kevin Sylvie. How can the Seahawks fix the running game? Is it fixable?
This is a good question, and probably once I wake up from my bye week hibernation is probably something I'll dive into in the film because I am legitimately concerned because it's not as much as everyone hates. I wouldn't say everyone hates as much as the most hated person on the team currently is Anthony Bradford. Believe it or not, guys, he is not the entire reason the run game does not work. Like he's just not. It's not him. Is he helping? No, but. Did they show? Sorry, side note. Did they show a replay of the shovel pass? That was where 2 guys ran into each other. That was bad.
Yes, Anthony Bradford ran into a tight end. If I'm not mistaken,
I thought he ran into Sundell. I don't know. I
don't remember, but yeah,
it was bad. Now that was like, oh my god, it's just this is rough. But it's really not just him. It's the whole operation. No matter who the point of attack is, whether it's Sundell up the middle, whether they're trying to get to the perimeter. I think they killed the Zach Charbonnet toss again. I don't think they ran it today, which is good. But it's just not working. It's the whole thing. I'm very concerned. Is it fixable? I will say I believe so. I think they can at least get to where they have an average run game. At the very least, very, very, very least, I think they can get to a point where they can close a game out. I would think, because Chris, this is bad. Hold on, let me look at the 4th quarter numbers here for a second, because now I feel like I'm about to just try to. Oh wow, their 4th quarter rushing numbers are actually not bad. That is fascinating to see. Yeah, a lot of first downs in the 4th. Man, maybe it's just the percentages are not great. Maybe it's just an eye test thing, because I don't know, man. This is really weird stuff with their run game. It's like they have a few that pop here and there, which is why the yards per carry ends up coming out okay some of these games. But Chris, I just do not feel good about it. I just don't. Whether they run right, run left, gap, counter, power, whatever, toss, there's no run they can hang their hat on. And I don't know if that's fixable mid-year. Maybe it is, because I saw that happen in 2021. Remember when Rashad Penny just turned into Barry Sanders for like a month? Like that run game wasn't that good before that either. I don't know if maybe they got the same thing in them, but I don't know. I don't really know if that's possible right now for them to find something to hang their hat on.
My only glimmer of hope for Seahawks fans is the return of Robert Oots. I think he can help. I'm not saying it's going to be 10 yards better per game, but I think what you saw against Pittsburgh and how he's able to just move guys and create lanes, because they relied on him a lot as a fullback. That's what they brought him in for, to lay out linebackers, clear room for Zach K9, and he did that. He was money. And then he got banged up, and he's been on injured reserve, and he will be back after the bye week. So that, I think, is going to be huge in how they run the game, because I think they're going to get back to more of the ISO, more of the stretch plays where they have a fullback leading. And if everyone just gets a hand on a guy, and maybe even turns, if you're on the offensive line and you're in that B gap, if you just turn your defender and allow a crease, you can create running lanes, and then Robbie Oots, all he has to do is dig out the safety and or the linebacker trying to fill that gap. And you're talking about an explosive play, something that you saw when he took on Patrick Queen, and I think another linebacker just got them both, and that sprung, I believe it was Zach Charbonnet for a huge gain, or K9, I don't remember the player, but I think that's what they're missing in the identity of running the football. So we'll see how much Robbie Oots can actually help this run game when he does return after the bye week. This next one is from Plantum Menace. So the Seahawks offense has been absolutely ass on third down this season. Why do you think this is the case, and do you see it improving as the season continues?
Yeah, there's a few reasons that the third down offense is not good. Let me give you guys a number here. Let me look all this up. I love True Media. It's just like it updates in real time, so I don't gotta wait. Wow, Chris. Do you know that? Wait, do you know the number off the top of your head where the Seahawks rank in third down conversions? Before I
Probably
give
dead
it,
last, second to last, or dead last.
they are 28th in third
Oh,
down
not as bad.
conversion
Okay,
rate.
I mean,
I
terrible,
mean,
but not.
it's pretty bad. I mean, that's 33.3%. You know, that's pretty rough. Wow. I
Does
didn't
that
think it was.
include tonight's 2 of
Yeah, yeah, it's
14
updated.
performance?
Yeah,
Damn.
that's updated. So
So in
one of
the
the worst
past
third
2
down
weeks,
teams in the
they
league.
are
Yeah, that's bad.
there are 3 of what, 29, 3 of 28 on third in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, they were 1 of 12 against the Jags, although 2 of those were like
End of
I,
game.
I kind of want to throw them out, yeah, because they weren't actually trying to get the first down, particularly the last one because of a kneel down. And then today, yeah, 2 of 15, so you could really call it like 3 of 25 or something like that. Like it's pretty bad. And they also have and this is the answer to why they're so bad right here. They have the 4th highest average distance to gain on third down of no, excuse me, 5th highest of 7.7 yards. So I mean there's your answer right there. So they have a long way to go, and you can't just always get there. Even if your pass pro is good, because Sam does not take a lot of sacks. The one he took today was just atrocious. But like that was just so bad. Like, why you spin that way and hold the ball like that? That was just like tons of quarterback no-nos. And he was in the back of even if he wasn't in the back of the end zone, that'd be bad. You add that he was in the back of the end zone, but that was terrible. Whatever. I guess you gotta take the good with the bad with Sam. But yeah, I think the main thing that jumps out when you ask me about third downs is the distance to travel. 7.7 yards on average. That's a lot. Even if the other team don't have great pass rushers, I mean, damn, dog, you got to go 8 yards. It's hard. It's hard to do. So I think that's part of it. We talked about third downs and my standout plays. I was looking at third downs from the last game, and I'd have to go back and look at what the Texans were doing. But I think, Chris, how I mentioned, the other thing that they need to check if they're going to be a Super Bowl team is the reliable number 2. That's where that would help, because I think like Kupp is a good player, and I think Kupp's a good player. I think Torrey is a potentially good player. Neither one of them has become, all right, they're bracketing Jacks. I know you're good for this on third down situation here. So I think that's part of it. And I think the other thing is Kubiak still has a lot of room to grow in terms of giving Sam the right answers to when they show pressure, if when they drop out, if they bring the heat. Just not a lot of consistently good answers. And they're just leaving stuff out here. Because I mean, I'm curious. You feel the same way, Chris? When I'm watching the games, either live and on tape, it doesn't feel like on third down. Sam's just making a bunch of stupid throws or inaccurate throws. It's not
No.
like I think he's missed a few here and there, but of that, let me see. What are they on? Of the 81 third down attempts that they've had, Sam's probably thrown like a bad ball like 4 or 5 times, which is a pretty small number in the sample. It feels like a lot of either they got beat on the pressure, which happens quite a bit, or he got to force it to Jax because no one else is there. Or, sorry, this is the third option. It feels like Sam throws it short of the sticks quite a bit. If like he's just like, all right, whatever, 3rd and 9, check down to Elijah Arroyo for 5 yards. Let's just punt. It feels like that. Like those 3 things are happening quite a bit. So it's not like Sam can't throw. There's just not always someone to throw to, and that feels like you can fix that on the bye week though.
Yeah, that's definitely fixable. And I think it's important now for someone to take that next step and be the number 2 when Jax does get bracketed, because I would imagine teams are gonna start doing that. You can't leave him one-on-one. He's beaten Stingley. He's beaten the other corner, I forget his last name, Lassiter, if I'm not mistaken. He's beaten everybody. So at what point do you say, because even on the broadcast, Louis Riddick and Don Orlovsky were like, I think it's time to double JSN, right? And they were like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. See if someone else can beat you. They didn't do that. Texans didn't do that, and they throw a first down right down the sideline, and JSN makes an incredible catch over the outstretched arms of Lasser trying to knock the ball away. And I'm pretty sure he tipped it, but it don't even matter.
He did get a hand on that. That was crazy.
He did, yeah. And Sam just delivered a beautiful ball. JSN just locked in, focused, made a huge catch, got the toes in, and Lasser couldn't believe it. He caught it. It's like, yeah, man, he whooping your ass on Monday Night Football in front of the world. So, yeah, it was a long day for the DBs, even though they did get turnovers. You saw that Sting got an interception, and then he just mushed my boy JSN all in the face, and that started a little kerfuffle on the football field. But nonetheless, I think it can be fixed. We shall see how this plays out and who becomes the number 2, because I would hope that it could be Horton. You don't want Cooper Kupp doing too much at his old age. The good news is Cooper's healthy. So as long as he can stay that way, opportunity will present itself. So this next one comes from Levi. Given the game he had tonight, are we buying what Mike McDonald has been selling in regards to Drake Thomas?
Good question. No, at least I'm not. I don't want to speak for Chris on this. I still need to see a little bit more. I also want to see how well he's doing in the middle of the field. I also want to see how much of this, like how much of the Dalton Schultz plays were Drake. I don't know. I'm just usually if tight ends open like that and he's just not like split out wide, somebody messed up in the safety or linebacker group. I don't know who, but I would like to go back and see. I do think he has some really impactful plays, and that's good. That doesn't always mean you were good on a consistent down to down basis. So I do think he is doing a lot of the fundamentals of the linebacker play really well. He's running and hitting. That's where I start with linebackers. I'm like, all right, first thing, are you running and you hitting? And I think he's doing a good job of at least watching live. When there's an op to go make a play and be aggressive, he's shooting it pretty well, which makes sense because he's really fast. Because he also seems really light as well, so it makes sense that he makes up for that with some speed. So I don't necessarily know if let me shorten my answer by saying this. I'm not even sure, Chris, that Mike McDonald is necessarily selling us anything. Because when I asked Mike on Saturday, will Drake start? He was like, yeah, but T Knight's not like going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like he made sure to mention that T Knight still has a chance, right? He didn't just like, yeah, no, we deaded that linebacker competition. It's Drake. No, he was like, it's Drake like now, which it doesn't mean that can't change. So when Mike talks like that, I don't think he's selling us to like Drake Thomas is that dude. I think he's just like Drake's earned the right to start, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think he's making some splash plays, which is good. Tackles pretty well for the most part. I think he had an MT today.
He missed 2.
Yeah, MT today too. Yeah. Yep. Well, I found those quick. Thank you. Yeah, so he's fine. He's fine now. I'll put it this way, Chris. I don't think that would stop me from like making calls around the league at
No, I'm right there
LD.
with you. The
Yeah,
first thing that popped in my head was him missing tackles at number 27. Like you gotta just make that play. Like this is the backup running back. It's not Joe Mixon. Make the play. And he had a couple of those where he just whiffed. He missed. And I'm sure it's a big deal, but at the same time, he also, as Mike mentioned, he had a lot more splash plays. So it definitely the ebbs and flows throughout the game. He has a bunch of highs more than the lows. So in that situation, you're like, okay, cool. But can you be more consistent? Can we get that now to maybe just one missed tackle, right? That's where I think the next step is for him. And then, yeah, to your point in coverage, I got to go back and watch the tape to see how he did. But if I'm not mistaken, he did get a PBU in the game. So I know he was active. So I'm curious to see how, he played throughout that game. And yeah, he's definitely has some talent, still a little raw, but again, this is his first action. He's been with the Seahawks for, I want to say, his third year now, if I'm not mistaken, and he's now being consistently getting snaps on the field as a starting linebacker next to Ernest Jones. So he's going to continue to play, and I'm curious to see how he handles it and improves, hopefully week in and week out. This next one is from Philip. Big Cat needs some love. How does a man that big plan for as long as he has look so light on his feet? Hashtag underappreciated.
Yeah. Although, I'm a push back on that. I think Leonard's pretty well regarded nationally. I would say probably the most highly regarded player on Seattle's defense. I would say. Um, so I think he gets a lot of love as one of the best players at his position. Um, but yeah, no, he's a beast, dude. Uh, Honestly, I'm gonna use this question real quick to talk about the whole front. This is probably this is up there with the best front in the league. I think the Texans front is very good. I mean, and it's not just Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. I mean, you guys saw. Damn, it feels like I'm picking on Anthony Bradford now, but I mean, you guys saw Danico Autry beat Anthony for that sack, or actually, I don't know if it was a sack, but it was bad. He just whipped him because that Texans front is good. Denver's front is really good. Benito and Cooper, and then Zach Allen, their tackle. The Rams front is good. I think those are the four best defenses right there: the Rams, Broncos, Texans, and Seahawks. No surprise, it's the four best fronts. There's some good fronts out there, but like Leo, between all those fronts I just named, Leo's as good as any player on any of those. As good as Benito. Hopefully, I'm saying his name right. Number 15 on the Broncos, just in case I'm saying it wrong. Jared Verse, Will Anderson. Um, yeah, he's just as good as all those guys. He can't be blocked. It's weird. It feels like he just picks a play where he just decides the guard's gonna get moved right here, right now, and that's it. And then the guard just has no shot. There was like a 2-play sequence. Let me see if I can find it so we can clip this up. I think it was in the first half where it was just like he just moved the guard. And I was like, dog, I just wanted to tell Leonard after the game, like, hey man, he has a family. Like, why would you just move another man like that? Yeah, he's just special. The third down stop on the 3rd and 1. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes now. Like 99 is circled quite a bit. Uh, the way he can move and how long he is, like it really is kind of unfair. It's ridiculous. Oh yeah, here it goes. It's in the 4th quarter. He hit CJ and then hit him again. It was back-to-back QB hits, and I think the last one was like a 4th and 15 ball that CJ just sailed. It was just back-to-back plays in the 4th where it was like Leonard said, "Excuse me, let me go hit CJ. Oh, CJ, you want to run away from me this time? I'm fast. I'm 6'6". I'm 300 pounds, but I can move. Gotcha." Yeah, no, Leo's the real deal, man. He's one of those guys. Him and Byron just have plays where they just decide, I'm not gonna be blocked today. They're like the defensive line version of Jackson, where it's like, you're not gonna guard me right quick. I'm about to score. Same thing with Leo and Byron. It is just unreal how good those guys are. I gotta do my next story, my next deep dive on something gotta be on those two. Because it's just unreal how good they're playing right now.
Yeah, and speaking of that 4th down, Mike McDonald on that 3rd and 15, he actually drops Leonard Williams into coverage, and They run a screen. Leo sees the screen. He's dropped into coverage, runs from the middle of the field to the right side and chases down Barrios for that 1 yard loss, which makes it, I believe, 4th down. Just incredible, showing the athleticism. Because, yeah, that's a big dude. And he's able to drop into coverage. Oh, he sees the screen developing, and he just beams full speed to that direction and gets Barrios before he's able to get going. Just incredible stuff, especially when they already dropping him. You don't see too many fat men moving backwards, then moving forward laterally and making a play for no gain or a loss on that. So that's just giving credit where credit is due in regards to Leonard Williams, because he is a beast. This next one comes from Demetrius Dugar. Oh, Mike's cousin. Look at that. Does Sam Darnold know he has other receivers on the team? Looking at the target share, it's ridiculous. Why are receivers out there just getting cardio?
Yeah, no, I mean it is pretty ridiculous, the way the breakdown goes. I mean, Jax is what's weird is though, if you think about it, Jax actually does not he doesn't get a lot of he does get a lot of targets, but it's not he's not having a CD Lamb year. I think CD had 200 targets one year. Michael Thomas, I want to say 2019 had a bazillion targets. I don't think Jax, correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't think Jax is on a pace like that. It really is just he's just always open. That's why for people who follow me on Twitter, let me see. Hold on real quick. Jax is third in targets. Damn, Chris Olave second in targets. Whoa, man, didn't know that. Shout out to Ohio State. But so no, to be honest, guys, and I feel my cousin on this, but at the same time, Jax is always open. it really is crazy how easy it is for him to get open, even on that ridiculous trick play that they ran. Jax is open. If Cooper Kupp throws just a normal ball, it probably gets close enough to Jax where he can catch it. So I mean, I can't even fault Clint or Sam for being like, all right, let's drop this play for Jackson. All right, that worked. Let's drop the next one for Jackson. That one didn't work. I don't know, man. I like this look right here. Let's throw the Jacks. You know what I mean? It's logical. Yeah, know your personnel. It reminds me a lot of watching the Bengals, and watching them on Thursday night. Just Joe Flacco got in there and said, "Where's number one at?" 23 times.
Good God.
He's like, and then I think T. Higgins got 10 targets in that game. So I think their two best players got 33 targets. Because that's where the ball should go. Where the ball should go. As much as I just said earlier, they need a number 2, which they do. I don't fault them currently for being number 11 is probably going to be open on this play. Because I'm rewatching the game right now, and I'm almost to the part where he catches this touchdown. It's come on, bro. That's one-on-one with who I think is the best corner in the league, Tub. Oh, it's 3rd and 7 against the best corner in the league. Give me 19 yards. Oh, it's 3rd and 8 against the best corner in the league. Give me 19 more. You gonna give me some off coverage? What's wrong with you? That's. I think if we were all Clint Kubiak, we would do that too. We would force feed Jackson. It's just ridiculous. So, as much as they do and eventually need to spread it out, I don't blame them now for drawing up 80% of the plays for Jax.
This next one is from Brent Taylor. Do you see any potential trade targets out there that the Seahawks could make to improve the roster? Any position is fair game.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like D Hall will be back. So I don't think they're as needy for an edge guy. I'm still a fan of calling the Dolphins and seeing if they'll just release JB from the shackles of South Beach, Jordan Brooks, that is, because that team is broken, and it pains me to see. It pained me to see Tyler Lockett on such a bad team in Tennessee. He asked for his release, according to Schefter. So good for Locke. It pains me to see Quandre over there on a bad team. Free him to bring him back. Just get real nasty with the defense. It pains me to see JB over there on a bad, bad defense. I think you can free that guard that they got over there too. I forget look up that Titans guard's name for me. The one I thought they should have signed, the older guy. His name's escaping me. I think he played for the Ravens. But you can free him as well in a trade. Definitely call the Titans, the
Kevin
Saints.
Zeitler.
Yeah, I'll take Zeitler. Don't matter how much he makes, Seahawks got money. I'll take him. I don't know what's left of that Saints O line, but call them. Yeah, I mean it's hard to find O linemen right now, and if there are any available, the Chargers will probably play a premium because they're about this close to holding open tryouts to see who can protect Justin Herbert because they're down bad. Yeah, I mean they're not super needy at a spot that I think that it's worth paying for somebody for. I mean, unless the Saints are just like we suck, we're not about to pay Chris Olave $30 million. Who is willing to give us a high pick? Because I'd give up a high pick for that to put him and Jackson in the same situation. To be honest, I would do that. Is anybody who else we missing? Chris, who else should they go after? Who else they need? They need anything else?
You named linebacker. You named D line, offensive line.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that you
it's not a lot out there, and I also don't know how many teams feel like they're sellers. I really feel like I'm looking at the standings right now. I mean, you can call the Browns, I guess, but they're delusional enough to think that, and their O line sucks. But like they're delusional enough, I think, to still think they got a chance. Yeah, I'm looking at all the bad teams are in the AFC. I'm looking at that now. Didn't realize that. You can call the Jets. I don't. Do the Jets have good players? I don't know if they do. Maybe you get an edge rusher from the Jets. Yeah, I mean,
Will McDonald. He's pretty good.
yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. Yeah, it's tough. I don't. Maybe that'll be something to look at the bye week too. But I don't feel like they're super needy. It really feels like they have the personnel unless they're going to upgrade at guard. That's it, and hold like a tryouts for center between Olu and Jalen. I'm willing to. I'm ready to. I'm at that point. I know that wasn't the question, but I'm at that point. I do know I don't got to watch the film for that. They should do that. Roll the ball out there. Let the best guy start against the Commanders. Yeah, I'm looking at the other bad teams. Yeah, call the Dolphins. Can't call the Ravens. They think they got a shot. I don't think there's anybody worth playing in the NFL at all on that Raiders team. I guess you can call them, but good Lord. I couldn't believe the score the other day. I said, what you mean they got it's 31-0 or whatever it was? They ran like 30 plays. Gino threw for like 60 yards. It was just, oh my God. Yeah. So you can call the Raiders, but I don't think that they'll give you anybody worthwhile. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I think John just needs to make calls, see if anybody's got like a competent guard they're willing to give up. And that's about it. Everything else, I don't see like an obvious and call for JB. That's it. In Tennessee. Or Miami, excuse me. That's about it.
This next one is from our guy Thorsten. Should the Seahawks sign Tyler Lockett? Can he contribute to the wide receiver core?
I don't think so. What do you think? I lean towards no on this.
No, it's okay. I understand why they moved on. It would have been nice for the Seahawks to keep him, but if he's not getting anything in Tennessee and their offense is just atrocious now, obviously they don't have an O-line. I just don't see it. I think what they have now is solid. And I don't know if Tyler comes in. Is he better than Cooper Kupp right now? Is he better than Torrey Horton right now? I don't know. That's an interesting discussion. Last year
I think he's better than Torrey for sure.
Okay.
I think so. But they have the benefit of playing with Sam already. So I don't know. I would rather see Tyler go somewhere that's more desperate for help. Like I think I tweeted someone and said he should go to like Pittsburgh. They could use some help. The Commanders signed Robbie Chosen. I saw the other day. Any team signing Robbie Chosen in 2025 could use Tyler because that's ridiculous. I was like, he's still in the league. His agent deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, right next to Kirk Cousins' agent. Robbie's been like on 12 teams, it feels like, and like feels like he never catches a ball either. He's just there. He just signs and changes his name. It's good for his agent and good for his family. But Yeah, I don't think so. I think there are teams that he could help more. He could be of more urgent help, and Washington and Pittsburgh come to mind. Maybe there's another one that I'm forgetting, but I feel like it makes way more sense to go to one of those teams than it does to come here and not play special teams and try to usurp Cooper Cup on the depth chart, which I don't think would happen.
This next one comes from Michael. Does JSN get to 2,000 yards this season? Jesus.
What is he on? He's on pace for 2,000, right? Let me see.
Let's see.
He's on pace for just under 2,000. So either way, the answer is no. I don't think so. I think again, you're gonna start to see a more concerted effort to making sure that Jackson just doesn't even get a target. And he will get targets, but right now I think teams are stupidly, except for Houston. I understand why Houston had this kind of game plan for the most part, but other teams are basically like, we're gonna play our stuff and do what we do well, and we're gonna stop their whole offense, not just Jack's. Okay, buddy, you try that. I can see why Houston tried that. Sting is, for my money, best in the league. My three favorite corners right now are Patrick Surtain, in no order: Sting, Patrick Surtain, and Quinyon Mitchell in Philly. Those are my three favorites right now. If you have one of those guys and you say the other team has a dude, but so do we, you just line it up and let it rock. I'm okay. I can see that. I don't think any other team should be doing that if they play Jackson. I think it should be doubles, brackets. Treat him like you treat teams treat DK. Like you gotta decide he can't get the ball today. That's what you gotta do. So I think once teams start doing that, he will still produce, but it just won't be the numbers that we're seeing. I mean, what did Jamar Chase do last year? And he was going nuts. What did he have last year?
1,700.
Yeah, 1708. Jackson's on pace to smoke that. Which is crazy to say. But no, I don't think so. I think what do you think it gets? I think he probably slows down a little bit, probably gets like 1,500.
Yeah, if he gets to 2,000, that's a new record.
Yeah, I mean he could get under 2,000 and hit the record. The record is like 1964.
64, like yeah. Calvin Johnson, right? The best.
Yeah. In 16 games.
I mean, maybe he could get that, but I think Calvin also had a 300-yard game that season. So, like, I'm not saying Jats can't do that, but I think he would need a game where he has like 250, 300 yards. If he can do that once, I think he just pushes himself into that 1,900 to that stratosphere. Because right now he's on pace for probably 1,700, 1,800. But you get 250, 300 yards in a elongated season because they added a game. Yeah, he might be able to get 2,000, but he's gonna need a game where he has about 250, 300 yards. Which, if Sam Darnold's like, shoot, F it, number 11 down there somewhere, and he eating it. You know what? Let's look at an opponent that he could do that against, Mike. If he had to pick one,
he's on pace for 1989, so he's on pace to beat that. He's on pace for almost $2,000.
Well, don't let him get 200 against the Titans because that'll for sure wrap it up for guaranteed. He goes out against the Titans, drop 250, 300 yards, he'll have it.
Megatron had 200-yard games in that season.
That's nasty business.
Yeah, nah, he was going nuts. He had 225 on the Falcons. Good lord. That's pretty crazy.
Oh, that's
a bad boy. Yeah, I mean Jax could do that, I guess. You know what I'm trying to, I always got to remember this now. And I wrote a story about Jax that ran on Monday. Shout out to everybody who read that and hit me up about it. I just got to remind myself when Jax goes crazy, or I try to think that Jax may not be able to do something. He had 347 yards in the Rose Bowl. And I'm pretty sure that was all in regulation. I don't think that game went OT. So anybody who can do that. Now, Utah's defense wasn't that great. It doesn't matter. They were good enough to make the Rose Bowl. Anybody who can do that, I think, can do anything, like literally anything. So I will not put it past him to break the record. I just don't think he'll do it, but I don't all at the same time I just don't want to say he can't because there's nothing he can't do. It's ridiculous what we're doing right now. What we're seeing right now, excuse me.
It would be very crazy for him to break the record. I know they added a game, but it would be just, yo, he did what? In his third season in the NFL, he just is like, yeah, I just smoked Calvin Johnson's record. I got 1997. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
what?
what you said? Which game could he go for like something nuts? And I'm seeing a
Yeah,
few on this
Titans
list, by the way.
guaranteed. Who else?
Yeah,
Who are we missing?
Titans, he could go crazy. That Commanders defense is not good to me. I don't know
The
statistically, I don't have the
secondary, yeah.
numbers, but yeah, the whole defense is not good to me, to be honest. But yeah, that's one. Titans for sure. There was one more. Oh, Vikings. The Vikings defense I actually respect, but as you guys saw if you watched the Eagles game the other day, their
They get
aggressiveness can hurt. It can hurt them. Like it can hurt them like very badly. Like Devontae Smith looked like Jax today or on Sunday. Like Devontae went nuts. AJ went nuts because when you are that aggressive, you are vulnerable to explosive plays. And there was one more on here. That might be it. That might be it. So we'll see. Oh, that Panthers too, depending because once you out here cooking Sting, I think you can cook anybody. J.C. Horn,
J.C. Horn, yeah.
Mike Jack, and I think JC's playing as well as any corner in the league too. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't. I guess I don't think I'll get to 2,000. But again, this is a guy who had like 350 in the Rose Bowl. So who am I to say what he can or cannot do?
Respect. This next one comes from Ryan. How much longer do the Seahawks fans have to wait for Christian Haynes or even Cable do to get a shot at right guard?
Oh man, we're in dark times if that happens. No, I would say dark times because I haven't seen enough of Cable do to say he can't do something. So I'll be fair to him. But yeah, Chris, I think that our new agenda we got to push on this show is like, at what point do you trot out Olu and Sundell together at right guard and center? Because I said earlier that AB is not like the source of all their problems, but he does stand out when there are bad plays. I think Sundell does too, for what it's worth. I just don't think all the bad O line plays are him. I mean, Abe has plays that aren't great. It's hard to play O line, so everybody's gonna have a couple plays here and there where they're not great. Charles too, but yeah, Charles had some good plays today, and then it was like, oh boy, Will Anderson's real deal. Like it was, which is what I would expect, to be very clear. Yeah, but I don't think Haynes is probably the answer, especially coming off an injury. Maybe you try Cable do. I'm at the point, I think, Chris, this is where the sentiment of the question is. Try something else. That's I do feel like that's a fair thing for Kubiak and his boys to go to Cabo for like 3 days, then come back, sit down, watch the film. Like, guys, maybe we should just try something else. Maybe because that it just seems to be very obvious where the weak spot is up front. And no team has like 5 studs up front. Even the good offensive lines, like someone has to be the 5th best guy, right? It's just how math works. But how good or bad your 5th dude does start to matter to you go into the season. And I don't think that'll ultimately kill the team. I think the run game as a whole is a bigger issue. But yeah, I'm at the point, Chris, where I'm like, try anything else. If it don't work, that's fine. But to keep trying the same 5-man lineup and say, oh, we'll just be better. It'll be better. We'll learn from it. We'll fix it. We'll learn from it. We'll fix it. We'll learn from it. We'll fix it. We could do a whole loop to start the next pod of Sam Darnold and Mike McDonald saying, yeah, we'll learn from it. We'll get better. Same thing. We'll learn from it. We'll get better. It's like, well, you're not, though. So try
7
something
weeks
else.
in.
Yeah, we're at the try something else phase as it pertains to the 5-man unit up front.
This is from @_E's World. Why does Kubiak's brain seem to malfunction with these trick plays?
So I after Cooper Kupp threw that trick play, I turned to Brady Henderson. He sits next to me in the press box. I was like, "Is that the first trick play?" And he was like, "No, they tried the play with Jax. Was a little hook and ladder joint, didn't they? Yeah, they did that somewhere. I don't mind the hook and ladder. I don't. However, I believe I've talked about this on the show before. Chris knows this is my stance. I don't like trick plays that involve people doing stuff that they don't normally do. That's like having kickers run the ball, punters throw the ball, running backs throw the ball. Um, like it now granted that eliminates a lot of trick plays, to be very clear. But like a flea flicker is a trick play, for instance. And it doesn't involve any of those things. It's running back throws it back to the quarterback, and the guy who's paid to throw it throws it, right? You're just changing up when he throws it. Reverses are trick plays, right? It involves people running with the ball who are paid to run with the ball, So there are other trick plays that don't involve someone who is not paid to do the thing. And that's where I think the process of the trick play is bad. I obviously it can work. I'm covering the team that had John Ryan, the punter, throw a touchdown in the NFC Championship game to an offensive tackle at that. I get it. It can work sometimes. Michael Dixon ran for a 9-yard first down, against the Lions his rookie year. Like I've seen some trick plays work. However, my stance in this, I'm not coming off of this from all the football that I've watched. If you ask guys to do things they don't normally do with the ball, the potential for it going poorly is high. Chris, we saw that on that trick pass. Kupp had no business throwing that ball. None, zero. He was not under duress. He could have ran with it, thrown it out of bounds. I think he was out of the pocket or very close to it. It was a bad idea. It was a momentum killer. And at that point, I really don't even blame Cooper for that. And that's why I'm going back to the coach. You got to kill stuff where guys who don't. It's like, remember, who was that, Chris, that did the Wildcat? Was that DJ Dallas? They had him doing that? That's not. I don't really care that guys would play like high school quarterback, which I think DJ was. Jackson did some Wildcat stuff, which is why he threw that bomb to DK last year. Was that in Atlanta for like 30 yards? Jackson did that, worked out, but he also threw that in like double coverage. Like I just don't like that. So whether it's Kubiak, Grubb, Waldron, Bevel, Tooth Fairy, don't care who's calling the plays. I do not like that. Kubiak has done some things we've suggested on this show. So our official, if you're okay with this, Chris, my official Seahawks man-to-man recommendation to Clint Kubiak and the Seahawks is no more trick plays that require guys doing stuff they are not paid to do. That is it. That is our message from the pod. That's all I got for you.
This next one comes from Jacqueline. Should Seahawks fans be worried about the turnovers?
Yeah, how many they have today? 4?
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Okay. Kupp one is obviously an outlier. I doubt Kupp throws another ball the rest of his career, to be honest. Because Chris before we recorded was like, that was Coop's first pass of his career. And I was like, I feel like I've seen him throw a ball before. And I have. That was like his 5th career pass. And that was the first one anyone's caught. It just went to the other team. So I feel very confident that teams are just gonna be like, all right, that's it. So you throw that
I'm
out.
curious as how Clint came to the conclusion that, you know what, you've been 0 for 4. We're gonna give it another shot. You can do it.
You know what I bet it was? I bet it was one of those things like, oh, they'll never see this coming.
Do it right to the defense.
Right. They probably didn't see that coming, but that secondary is way too good. Oh man, for you to be doing that. Yeah, no, you're right. That is, you want to talk about. They talk a lot about the process on this team, which is good. Like I'm not making fun of that. Like that they should. Like the process is what matters. But since it's what matters, I don't know how you look at Coop's track record and be like, we're gonna get him with this.
He's 0 for 4, has never completed a pass. But you know what, Cooper? Tonight is your night, buddy. You're gonna be one of 5 here. Let's go. On 3. Break.
Yeah, and that was a tough route too. He tried to hit Jackson's stride over the middle. You got to give him like one of those where the guy is wide open in the end zone or something like that. Like not. Yeah, that was just terrible. I'm trying to look up his passing numbers on True Media right now. It's loading. When we get to, let's move on. But when we get to another question, when this loads, I'm gonna look this up because that is just ridiculous that they tried that. Clint should never do that again.
Yeah, I immediately tweeted that. That's the last time they should run that play. This next one is from RG in Seattle. If you knew for certain that this would be Sam's worst game all season, how far could this team go with him at quarterback?
Well, if that was, you still got to be able to run the ball better than they did today, particularly late. But yeah, if that's Sam's worst game, you're winning a playoff game with that, for sure. And that may not feel like a huge accomplishment given how good I'm sure the fans feel like the team is right now. But like Chris, for the last few weeks, I've been just tweeting the NFC standings after every week.
Jesus.
Uh, the NFC has a lot of good teams. Like so,
Yes.
right now, the season obviously doesn't end today. I always hate when people say if the season ends today. Well, it doesn't, right? But I just give you the standings right now. Green Bay's number one at 4-1-1. Niners are number two. This is the seeding, by the way. Green Bay, San Francisco, Philly, 5-2, Tampa, 5-2, Detroit, 5-2, Seattle, 5-2. Those are the top 7 teams right now. The Bucks are the only team with a negative point differential, so I could see them falling off a little bit. So anyway, Bears are 4-2, Carolina 4-3, Dallas 3-3-1, Atlanta 3-3, Minnesota 3-3. You know, the Commanders are 3-4, but that could go south here pretty fast. So you got at least like 10 competitive teams. Shoot, even the Vikings point differential is plus 20. You know, even though they're 3-3, Commanders are plus 10. You know, even at 3-4, right? You know, Dallas is plus 16. Yeah, 3-3-1. So I'm saying that to say winning a playoff game is going to be tough in that first round of the NFC playoffs, assuming like one of these teams doesn't just fall off a cliff. Like right now, Chris, their wild card game would be going to Philly,
Mm.
which could hold true. That could easily be the thing that's by the end of the year where they're actually going. That would be a very tough game. It's a very
Yes.
tough game. But I do think that they could do that. But then their next game would be like, yeah, going like Green Bay or something. We'll see. We don't have to do all the playoff scenarios. But my point is, if this is the worst Sam plays, I don't think he played particularly well. Then yeah, you're probably getting first round with that. But if you can't run the ball, though, you're not getting any further than that. And I feel very confident saying that, no matter how Sam plays.
Got a few more, Mike. This next one comes from Slim. Bye week is here. What is your guys' honest opinion about the team? Ooh, that's a fun one.
It is. That is. I think I have a few opinions, but I'm not going to ramble. Opinion number one: Mike McDonald is a mad scientist. He is very good. He is a good football coach. Um, I think that he has established a culture here of being hungry, of having an attitude, of that whole play style no one else wants to play type of thing. I just really think that he has successfully implemented that. Now we have to see that in the postseason, but I think they really take it on his identity. You know, it's like, for instance, I was talking to guys in the locker room today, and it was just like they were all very excited. They won, they got bye week, but they were also like, we can be better. Like our defense, like we can be better. You know, there's plays we left out there. The offense was like, yeah, we put up 27 on the best defense in the league, but we should have scored more. And not even in an arrogant way, because they're right. It should have scored more, you know. And they gave the Texans 6 points with that sack and fumble by Sam. So there's just this attitude of like that Kobe interview in the finals where he's like, "Job's not done." This is like a
Mm.
Mike McDonald has taken that on in his own way, though. They're not just like Mamba mentality in it around here, you know. And so that really stands out. And we've done this on the show before, where if you really only watch the Seahawks, right? Just take a minute when you're done listening to the pod. Go on the Athletic app, type in Zach Rosenblatt. It's our Jets writer. Go read how the Jets are doing. Go read
Mm.
what's wrong with them. That's a no culture having team. Go to ESPN app, read my man Marcel Louis Jock, covers the Dolphins for them. That's a cultureless team with a bad leader. That's the same thing. The Jets have the same problem. Like, not to just single out only those teams in the AFC East, but I use those teams as examples of like teams without culture or bad cultures. They have a culture of being perceived as soft in Miami. They're undisciplined culture in New York. Like there's these, you can see what it can look like if it's not going well. Watch the Raiders. That is a poorly coached team right now. That's a terribly coached team. They should fire some people. Like Mike's culture, the attitude that the team has, he's established that. How far they go, don't know. But they got the mental part right. That which is the hardest part to get. Every team can run a hit and catch passes and block. The mental part is right. Their defense is playing very unselfish. Everyone truly believes if I just do my job, I'm eventually going to be around the ball. With TFL, PBU, and it's hard to get guys to do that. You got guys who are in contract years, guys who are older, like guys who are young and trying to prove themselves. But everyone's just like, I'm gonna just do my job and eventually it'll be my turn. So that's like opinion number one I have on the team. It's like I feel really good about Mike and what he's implemented. Opinion number two, no one can guard Jax. That's crazy. That's it. I'll keep that one short and sweet. Those are kind of the main two I have going into the bye. What you got?
I would say Sam Darnold is definitely proven to be more than I expected. I knew he could be.
Go ahead and call him elite. You wanted to right there. I could see it on your face. You want to call Sam elite? Go ahead.
I wanted to call him very good, and he's done that
call
so
top
far.
Is he top 5?
This through 7 weeks, yeah. He's top 5 through 7
Here
weeks.
we go.
Yeah,
Here we go.
He's right there. He's been money. This game, albeit interception, fumble, he's been really good. He's been really smart with the football. It even drives people crazy because, yeah, he will just throw it in the flat and say, all right, go play defense, guys. We'll punt the ball, pin them deep. You'll get a stop. We'll go back on the field. We'll have good field position. We'll run the ball, play action, touchdown, Jax. He's been really decisive and smart with the football. And give credit to John Schneider, as you did last week, Mike, and one big thing. And with Mike McDonald and what they brought around him, they said, okay, we're going to make this play action heavy. And despite them, the Seahawks not being able to run the football, it's still that fear of them running it because of K9's explosive ability to just hit it and take off. You saw that on one run. And unfortunately, there was a hold by Gray Zabel. He shot right through the hole for like 15 yards. Beautiful play. You want to see more of that from K9. And they haven't gotten that consistently. But what they have gotten consistently is play action pass, using the tight ends. And as I mentioned, JSN has just been phenomenal. So that for me has been something that has caught me by surprise. And I'm saying, wow, here they are, the bye week at 5-2 in a really good position. And they got, I think, their toughest stretch coming up in these next few when they get off a bye. You're going on the road to take on the Commanders. You got the Arizona Cardinals who are going to be fighting for their lives at that point. I mean, right now they're 2-5, so they're already in a hole. And
they're 2-5 with a -1 point differential, by the way. So
yeah, their defense is good.
I said to say like they're very close. They are, put it this way, so I can let you finish talking. The Cardinals are 2-5. The Bucks are 5-2. They both have the same point differential of -1. It kind of shows you just sometimes it really is just the ball bouncing your way, finishing some games. The Cardinals are not trash. They just have been a little bit unlucky.
Very unlucky. I mean, albeit maybe if they have Kyler Murray, they win those 2 games. They've had Jacoby Brissett backing up, albeit from what I've read, he's looked a lot better than Kyler. So
yeah,
that's
hey, now, man. Yeah, Jacoby out there slinging that pill now.
But to your point, the ball just hasn't bounced their way. So the Seahawks have an interesting stretch coming. Then they got the Rams on I think that's a Thursday night matchup. So it'll be coming off that bye week, how they respond, going on the road, which they've been road warriors under Mike McDonald. I believe they're 10-1 on the road. So it's not as if they've been struggling on the road. It's more so, okay, you handle business on your home, and now you're going to go on the road. Could you end up being 7-2 going into that Rams game, 8-2? That's impressive. So for me, I've been very impressed with Sam Darnold and how they've shaped everything around him and how well he's been playing. And then also you got to tip your hat to Jackson Smith-Njigba, who has just, what more can we say, man? What more can we say? So that's been, for me, I would say, for sure, that's been surprising about this team through 7 weeks heading into the bye week. And this last question comes from Muffin War 9428. Is Nathan Jones the best ref in the NFL? And if not, why?
Who's that? Is that the ref that was guarding Jax.
Yes, sir.
It is. Wow, how do we find his name? They say his name on the broadcast. Is that what it was?
They did.
Gotcha. Yeah, so guys, I can't hear the broadcast. What real quick before I answer that, that's a fun question. Going back to the culture thing on Mike McDonald real quick. You know who I gave those examples of bad teams? The Seahawks currently remind me of two teams in terms of a good way the culture is represented. Team number one is the Steelers. Mike Tomlin's teams have a very like Tomlin-y identity to them, even when they're not great. Like they're just, you feel you're watching them, you're like, okay, they're running and hitting. They never really quit. They win a lot of ugly games where they need like a TJ Watt strip sack, or a blocked field goal or whatever, or a goal line stand, like because they just don't quit. They'll win a game without a touchdown. Right? It'd be like 6 field goals and TJ Watt had 3 sacks, right? Because that's Mike Tomlin. He's just like, we're gonna go out here, we're gonna run and hit until there's zeros on the clock, And then the other one is Dan Campbell, to give you an example of a team that's more recently more complete on both sides of the ball. Like that whole biting the kneecaps and aggressive, running the score up on people, not caring when they have guys injured, I think is what really stands out too about the Dan Campbell comparison. Because Chris, they did this today, and they've been doing this. Julian Love's been out for like a month. Spoon's been out, and they're going. The Bucks game is looking like quite the outlier on defense. That just is. It's just looking like quite the outlier. Like every other week, it's far more indicative of who they are. So you got a defense that's going to get healthier, going to get guys back. But even then, like, I don't know how much of the Lions game you watched today, but they had their entire starting secondary out. And Baker had been killing it. And I looked up in like the second half, and Baker had like 25 yards passing, and it cost me my fantasy anyway. But my point is, they were down guys. They still got it done, and they were like that last year too, because Dan Campbell he views next man up real deal like Mike McDonald does. So, yeah, I feel very good about just the overall direction of the team at the bye week because they got the right leadership in place. Now, as for the ref, my story that I wrote for the Athletic is probably out now by the time the pod drops. The story dropping at 4 a.m. Pacific, I think. I bring that up because that was actually how I led my story. When I saw that ref shielding Jax, I kind of whispered to myself, I was like, that's the only time somebody covered that boy. He was running free on those guys today, man. Like, yeah, shout out to that ref getting to be the only person on Monday night, Chris, who could cover Jax, because it was special. We watched today. He didn't have a ton of yards, but I really cannot stress enough how is there a better secondary? Correct me if I'm wrong. Does another team have 2 good corners as the same as the Texans?
The Seahawks.
Oh yeah,
but that's
Seahawks
unfair.
have 2 good ones.
We'll have to. What about the Lions got 2 grabby corners.
Nah. I'm out on the Arnold kid.
Steelers just got barbecued, so absolutely not.
Oh no, that's it is time for Jalen Ramsey to hang that up.
I guess Denver, but I don't know how you feel about. No, yeah, it's not.
They are picking on my man Riley Moss every week. It is
Eagles
rough.
would be no, not really. The Eagles
is good when they have Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell play on the outside. But when they have like Keely Ringo in and stuff, it gets kind of bad. Yeah, I mean, we might have just seen the best secondary or the best cornerback tandem in the league, and Jax just took turns with him. He's like, you can get an explosive, you can get an explosive, you can get an explosive. Like it was both of them. Yeah, I mean, looking around the league right now, I don't really feel like super strong. JC Horn and Mike Jack are playing real well out in Carolina.
Well, it's unfortunate that Baltimore sucks because I would say that Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey would be, but
that's probably the other one. That's probably the other one. Yeah. I'm with you. That's a good cornerback duel, even if the rest of their defense is not.
ass.
That's not good either.
Oh, you know
But yeah,
what? We forgot about the oh my gosh. They're actually like 4-2. The Patriots. Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez.
yeah, I'm not a huge Carlton Davis guy. I don't know how well he's playing up there. But just in general, I'm not a fan. But he could be playing well over there. But you're right. He traditionally has been pretty good. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of duos better than the one, if there is a duo at all, better than the one we just saw. And like I said, Jax just treated that like Oprah. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. So I mean, as long as he's doing that, they're gonna have a shot every week. Because
Yeah.
man, I can't wait. We got to do one of our standout plays this week. Just got to be Jackson. I feel like we haven't used that in a little bit, so
Yeah,
we
because
gotta do
he
that.
could. To be honest, we could do it every week. That's how good he's been.
Maybe
And I
we
just
should.
don't want.
Maybe we should throw in a bonus Jax play every week. We can
I'm
do
not
that.
mad at it.
It's our
He had
show.
a
We can make it
couple.
up.
He had a couple of routes today. I was like, God damn! Got on the inside of the DB and then hit him on an out route. I said, Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. That is an amazing route. And then he just caught it and was just shaking his head like, Come on, Lassiter, this ain't what you want. You guys were
Look,
doing all that
man.
talking. And you did this ain't what you want, big time. I'm really him. H11M.
Yeah, no, he is. It's that look. Jax has that look in his eyes. It's very confident, but not cocky. It's just like you can't stop me.
Mm.
You can't. That's it. You can't. And he's right. That's the thing. When I was reporting my story. This be the last thing before I close you guys out. I'm sorry because it's late. But like when I was writing my thing on Jax,
They don't
it
care.
really. Yeah, that's
They
true.
watching us.
Yeah, that's true. It's whatever time of day. Y'all walking y'all dogs, doing the dishes, folding laundry, whatever. Last thing though, I swear, when I was writing this thing on Jax, it was just like, because he proclaims that he like is dominant, is like one of the best. Like he says the things that like gets associated with like an arrogant personality like a Deion Sanders. But then it's like he's not billed as that. No one views Jax as like Floyd Mayweather, in terms of like confidence, arrogance, cockiness. And you know why? Because everyone agrees. Everyone's like, you know what? You are the best, man. Like there's so much people I could have quoted that over the years have been like, yeah, Jack's the best player I've ever seen. Like Garrett Wilson, CJ Stroud, Brian, everybody at Ohio State was like, yeah, we're all good, but Jax is the best player I've ever seen. All his high school teammates, all the high school coaches, opponent coaches, everywhere, every time people play with him, they're just like, yeah, I've been around good players. That's the best guy I've ever seen. Right over there, wearing number 11. Him, that guy. Go watch him. He's great. So, I mean, yeah, it's unstoppable stuff. Anyway, that's the last thing. I need to go to bed. But yeah, can you do our outro so we can get some sleep?
Absolutely. We appreciate all the love and support. Make sure you are tapped in on YouTube. You're following us there, subscribed. You're on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. And then be sure, if you haven't yet, Christmas is coming up. Go ahead and order that book. Mike, what's the name of your book, man?
The franchise, Seattle Seahawks, a curated history of the Legion of Boom era, available wherever books are sold, local Barnes and Nobles, local bookstores in the Seattle area. You can get them on Amazon. I can get you a signed copy as well. Find me at a game, or if you want a signed copy and you're not in Seattle, DM me. We can figure that out. Get one shipped to you. But yeah, man, go get the book. Oh, that reminds me as well. The flag raisers today were Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor together, and that warmed my heart. I took a video of that, tweeted that. It was good to see E and Cam together. It was good to see Earl looking healthy, looking happy. So I'm glad he got to do that. But anyway, both of them are featured in my book. Read it. We're heading into the bye week. We'll let you guys know how the scheduling will go for that. Obviously, no opponent preview. But we will have some standout plays. I can guarantee you that. Other than that, enjoy your week. Get some rest during the bye week. Mariners, you guys had a good season. We'll get them next year, boys. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.